Best of luck with that. Now, make sure you leave some room in your TV schedule tonight, because BAFTA-winning actor Jason Watkins is back with his thrilling new drama, Coma. Take a look.
You don't have to see out your full notice period. You can finish up today. Thanks for everything, Simon.
This came from the mortgage company.
Hey!
You've got something to say, big man? I asked you a question.
Hey, what are you doing?
All right, big man.
What are you going to do about that?
Did you see what happened?
Just found him. Made a mistake.
You the man that found my boy? You saved his life.
I saw you. What you did, you and that lad.
It was self-defense.
Was it? Do you have to try and act as though you're innocent?
I can't tell you how gripping episode 1, which we've seen, is.
We've discussed fully.
Thrilled to have Jason in this morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
I mean, there's a few little bits in that we hadn't seen, which is really exciting.
Yeah.
Watching this, he's such an identifiable character, and you're constantly asking yourself the question, what would you do if you were in that situation? Got a sense of it there, but for our viewers who won't have seen it, because it's on tonight, it's at 9 o'clock, the first one, just explain a little bit about what's going on.
Well, he's a kind of dedicated family man, and he falls prey to a victim of the kind of local youth who are kind of doing petty vandalism around his street, which sadly occasionally happens. And because the stress he's under at work, he's getting a bit older, you know, like all of us, and his job's getting younger, as it were, and the person who he trained is now his boss, and, you know, there's a difficult relationship. So he's feeling a tension. It's a hard-fought life, because his daughter was from IVF, so, you know, so he's constructed this world, and then all of a sudden he's under pressure, and he makes this terrible decision when he's confronted with one of these boys, this 17-year-old, that he does the wrong thing, and he then suffers the consequences. But you're right, yeah, we're trying to... I think my job was trying to be identifiable with other people, like with, you know, real people. How would you... I don't look like Tom Cruise. I'm not... I mean, a lot of people say I do.
Come on.
Robert Redford, the list is very long. But, you know, I wanted to be, what would you do in that situation? And, you know, kind of surrounded by this rather brilliant cast of, you know, people like Jonas Armstrong. He's terrifying. And there's Joe Barber, that young actor just starting out his career, who was just extraordinary. Kayla Meikle, who's a young black actress who, as viewers may know from Time 2, the second series, you know, and David Bradley and Claire Skinner, of course, I've worked with before. So my job is just to be reacting against all these forces and carry the audience with me. So, and I know that you said some very kind things about the first episode, but it gets deeper and deeper.
Well, it's that moment, isn't it, where it's, what would you do in that moment? And it would be so easy to make a mistake, or in the split second make a wrong decision.
Yeah.
And it's also following the story that you do so well with your character, where it's like, when is he going to hold up his hands and go, I did...
Is it too deep to do that now? I mean,
he seems to just be going further and further in.
Often men might... I mean, maybe this is a generalisation, but often men think, no, I can cope, I can deal with this, I'll take the burden off my family, I'll deal with it. But, of course, it just implodes, and there's a history of him being quite vulnerable and had mental health issues. So Claire's saying, Claire Skinner, who plays my wife, just brilliant, who I've worked with many a time, you know, she's, say, you all right? And he won't kind of own up. And, of course, the world starts to, you know, close in on him. And
it all unravelling as that initial decision just becomes sort of the spiral.
Yeah, and Jonas Armstrong, obviously the lad that I end up punching, who I put in a coma, I think there's no mystery about that, is that, you know, obviously we don't want him to wake up, because then he'll say what happened. There are only 2 of us there, by the way. There's only 2 of us on the street. But Jonas gives one of the most wonderful performances as the sort of gangland boss of Joe Barber. I mean, it's a really remarkable performance and terrifying. So I don't have to do very much, you know. There's a little sort of stream of comedy in it, because the sort of potential disasters are so epic.
Yes.
That, you know, and it's great having people like Claire with me to reflect that.
And it feels like they're just around the corner all the time. That's
exactly
the other thing.
Yeah.
You feel as though they're just kind of, any second, it could all be exposed.
And it goes, and he's, of course, he's set up this lie, but he's not a very good liar.
No.
He's just a guy.
Hopeless.
Hopeless at it. And so...
Because he strikes me as the sort of person that's just always been really honest and open and authentic about who he is.
And a nice man.
He's
Just
a nice...
Maybe how he's found himself, where people are pushing him around and he feels a bit downtrodden.
and as it goes on, you know, there's other characters which are probably obvious now that can control people, can, you know, get what they want, be effectual, and he perhaps sees himself being slightly ineffectual, and he's, as I say, he's under a lot of pressure at work, and which goes to the obvious extreme where I think I can say that he's losing his job. We say that's in the first...
That's in the first act.
Yeah, so, you know, there's the fear of that, the cost of living crisis, that's touched on, you know, and so how do you cope with those things? And the way to cope is to share, isn't it?
Yes.
You've got to
Yes.
share.
Open dialogue, yeah.
You mentioned David Bradley, who we saw a little clip of him in there, who and his character clearly becomes more and more important as he goes through. You filmed all this in Budapest.
Yeah.
Which I think is fascinating.
I asked the question. I was like, it doesn't look like Budapest.
I mean, what does Budapest look like?
Yeah.
It looks a bit like Warrington or whatever.
It looks like... Well, this part of Budapest looks like Warrington. I think it's kind of Warrington area. But a lot of films are shot in Budapest because it looks like Paris and it's easier to shoot there. And many American films and series are made there. So all the departments are incredibly skilled and talented. So, you know, it's one of those jobs where and many actors say this, but it was one of those jobs where the planets aligned and everybody got on so well and was so committed to the project. It's a great script. So,
it's also a great city to have a rap do in.
Oh, yeah.
Because I understand that you and David had quite a night on the rap do.
Well, David did. I mean, David did. I mean, we did... I mean, I had, like, one night off. I mean, every scene, so...
Yeah.
But, David's such an amazing person. We're surrounded by amazing people, actually, and he's so inquisitive about life, and he is a dancer.
Yeah.
So, of course, when he goes out and dances, it's not just sort of, you know, rave or, you know, or drill.
Which it is when you go out.
Ballroom. Of course, yeah. You know, I just do cardboard box, that's me. But yeah, he can do a bit of ballroom, and he's he's full of joy, David, and in his life, you know, he's got a wonderful family life, and he brings all that richness, I think, to his work, and that's one of the reasons why he's been so brilliant over the years. So, excuse me, so. You know, we're so lucky to have somebody like him with us.
And we're lucky to have you in this morning, Jason. Honestly, Kat and I loved this.
Yeah.
It's stripped across the next 4 nights, isn't it, on Channel 5?
Yeah.
At 9 o'clock. It's absolutely gripping. I cannot wait.
Brilliant.
It's really annoying. I'm desperate. You know, in this day and age where we can get to binge things straight away, I was so angry that we only had the first episode. I was like, where's the rest of it?
Well, I think you'll be able to stream it at some point. Probably at the end, you can binge.
Watch it all.
It's 4 episodes. It is beautifully binge-worthy. So, yeah,
Brilliant.
Very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
And great White Cross as well, by the way. Great punch.
Yeah, it's funny that, isn't it? You wouldn't think that of me, really.
It's always the quiet ones,
Yes,
they say, isn't it?
exactly.
The worm
Keep your
that
eye.
turned, yeah.
And by the way, he's an amazing gymnast, so there's strength in there. This is what we know about. I'll get him to do a handstand for you at some point.
You need to come
He could
back
across
again.
The studio
I think
on his
so.
hands.
Come back again.
Do my one-handed
Thank you.
handstand.
Thank you
Lovely
so
to see you,
much.
Jason.